Hey you awesome a-holes, welcome back to J-Mac. My name's Jack, and today we're looking at, well, that. Yeah, super smooth segue. Quite a few fun stories to enjoy today, so as always, sit back, relax, like this video, and let's get started. First story. Am I the a-hole for keeping my promise of training her kids like dogs if or when my cousin dumps them on me? It's just titles like these that make me love this subreddit. My cousin Amy, who's 25 years old, has a 6-year-old male that are twins and has a nasty habit of dumping them onto relatives to babysit for the entire day without any warning or regard for their time. I'm a 27-year-old female and I have a very strange relationship with her, but because my mom's side of the family demands that we all remain close-knit, I have no choice but to tolerate her. When she initially gave birth to them, she teased me that I'll have to take on babysitting duty from now on. I'm no good with kids, so I remarked to her that if I ever have them, I'll train them, not babysit. She brushed me off, and based on the title, I feel that was a very, very big mistake. The kids are now hella destructive and loud, pulling out stuffing inside furniture, holes inside walls, smashing anything glass and porcelain, screaming louder than a fire alarm, you name it. When it was my first turn to deal with them, I immediately walked with them to the store and grabbed the biggest bag of M&Ms I could find and trained them so that every time they follow my orders and behave, they get one. If they misbehave, I get one. Soon enough, every time the kids were dumped on me, they went with my guidelines and behaved. Whenever I say sit, they sit at the table. When I say stay, they don't leave that spot, etc. 2 days ago, there was a party planned with the whole extended family. I know, pandemic. Didn't want to, but Mom insisted. And I grabbed the M&Ms since the twins were there. Arrived, twins were being so destructive. An entire tray of food was spilled. That all the adults had enough and yelled at Amy to control them. She vomited the same excuse of them just being kids and they'll grow out of it eventually. Oh, she's one of those parents. Oh. I shouted the twins' names and shook my M&M bag. They came running over to me and I popped 6 pieces into my mouth for their misbehavior. I told them to go clean up the mess or no candy all night. They do so. Halfway through the party, every time something similar came up or they just weren't behaving, I was the one able to calm them down. When Amy saw what I was doing, she got angry and started yelling at me about how her children aren't animals and that, I shouldn't be giving them so much candy anyway. I told her that I'm their aunt, not their parent. Why am I the one disciplining them? Isn't that her job? She screamed the same argument at me, and since she's their mother, to stop giving them candy. One of the twins overheard and went ape smack, dashed straight into the kitchen and started shattering anything they can get his hands on, shouting over and over that he wants candy. His twin joined him soon after. I repeated that she's their mother and just sat in the living room watching it all unfold. At the end, Amy blamed me for them turning out this way. The other relatives she dumped them on, a majority, disagreed. But when I told a friend about the situation, he told me that the training I did can really frick up the kids' mentality later in life. So, am I the a-hole? Well, I mean, in terms of fricking them up mentally or their mentality later in life, at least you're trying something. What was the mother doing? Abandoning them? Just giving them away to other people? Yeah, wow, great work, Mum. You're really showing those kids how to be mature adults. Obviously, this is just a very small window into who Amy is as a person, but based on this scenario and the circumstances, it clearly shows that when it comes to personal responsibility, Amy is not a good role model for them. Now, it seems people in the comments were quite satisfied with the methods OP took. Let's be real, kids are basically animals for the first few years anyway. This is a brilliant idea. Source, have been stuck inside with my 2 kids since March, and this is sounding better and better the more I think about it. But there are others who stand by what your friend thinks. I mean, this is just amazing, but your friend is right. This kind of training where people only behave decently if there's a reward, then misbehave again if there's no reward is great for a dog, terrible for humans. If you've ever watched Parks and Rec, there's a female character who goes around saying, "Money please," and breaking things if she doesn't get money. That's the end result. So, was this story good? Absolutely! Should you be doing it? Absolutely not. Everyone sucks here. And I think on that point, it kind of really shows that a lot of the comments here, as well as myself, seem to be more so enjoying this scenario based on how much of a petty revenge sort of story it is. They are right to be saying that, yeah, this, I guess in a way, can actually mess with the ability for children to realize that there's a need to be good for the sake of being a good person. Doing a good thing with the expectation of being rewarded for that good thing kind of dismisses the whole point of trying to do a good thing. Maybe just make them binge watch The Good Place on Netflix for like 5,000 or 6,000 times until they get the point. Meanwhile, let's go check out the next story. Am I the a-hole for embarrassing my coworker? So I work in fast food. I also recently found out my grandma has cancer. She lives in another state, so I took off a few days so I could go see her since they are putting her in hospice, so obviously things aren't looking good for her. So one of my co-workers asked why I wasn't working those days. We can all see everyone's schedules, and I said it was personal. They kept pushing, and I said it was just family stuff. They were saying things like, "Oh, you should come anyway, it's no fun without you." I snapped and said, "I'm sorry if visiting my grandma dying from cancer is more important to me than working. I asked you to drop it, now leave me alone." I went and started crying in the bathroom. When I came out, they were working in a different area, and my other coworker said I didn't need to embarrass them like that, and that they feel bad. But, I mean, they haven't said anything to me about it. Am I the a-hole? Ugh, not the a-hole. Your coworker was being invasive. They should have stopped asking you when you said it was personal. No, you are the a-hole, but so are the coworkers. On the one hand, they had no way to know what you were going through, and you should have let them down a little easier. On the other hand, they should empathize with you and apologize so that you get an opportunity to do the same. Yeah, look, maybe it was the way they said it, but them simply saying it's no fun without you, it really didn't seem like they were trying to make a jab or shame you for not working those days. It just sounds like they were just making conversation and were just trying to get to know you a bit more, I guess. If anything, you could have easily just said, "Look, it's a real personal issue with my family, that's why I'm taking these times off." You didn't really need to bring up the fact that it was actually related to your grandma dying of cancer. But I also think the fact that you immediately then went to the bathroom to cry about it clearly shows you were in a heightened emotional state about this. It was still really affecting you right then. I think Galactic Beans here makes a good point. You can't expect people to understand if you never tell them. That is the truth of it. You blowing up on the garnering you makes you the a-hole. Either tell them what is going on calmly, or nothing at all. That said, I do think you're not the a-hole regardless. Anyway, on to the next story. Am I the a-hole for getting wasted? I'm in college currently, and my friend group consists of 5 people. However, one person usually hangs out with her boyfriend, so she was not there in this situation. I have never gotten drunk before, and don't frick around with drugs or anything. My life has been traumatic. I have severe depression and anxiety and a bad family, so I have had to grow up pretty fast. I used to always take care of my drunk friends instead, and was the sober friend. Recently, I have spiraled because I was traumatized by a relative during quarantine. I have tried to share some of the sadness I have been feeling to my college friends, but they usually change the subject or laugh at me. I wanted to feel like a real teenager this time and get drunk and feel something else other than the intense depression, which is bad, I know. We wanted to drink the night before my friend's birthday. I drank too much because it didn't hit me fast enough, and they were pretty drunk too. However, I am the smallest and have not been eating well on campus, and so I got really nauseous. I asked my friend for a garbage bin, and she gave me a paper bag. Unfortunately, I missed a bit, and some puke landed on her floor. 2 of my friends left the room when I started puking. I got really embarrassed and kept apologizing to her. She cleaned it up pretty quickly, and my friends kept asking each other if they were okay, not me. They did get me water, but eventually I really needed to leave to take a shower, so they stayed, and I walked to my dorm alone. I sobered myself up really quickly, and that was fine by the next day to do the birthday brunch. They were standoffish towards me, even though I didn't ruin my friend's birthday at all other than the small puke incident. I paid for a $50 Uber, and our other friend, who wasn't with us, knew what happened but was nice to me. Later, When I was talking to her because she was going through some hard stuff and the rest of my friend group didn't care, I opened up about, how I felt that the other 3 girls judged me for a long time, even before the incident. She told me she felt the same way, and said that they talked smack about me after I left. They said that I was an embarrassing person, and they didn't care if I was too hungover to go to the birthday brunch and I should take care of myself. They said it was annoying that I kept apologizing. When I wanted to have a mature conversation with them about it, they told me to stop talking about it. They then proceeded to make fun of me and say that if it was carpet flooring, they would have cut me off from the friend group. My one friend defended me, saying everyone had their moments, and they've had moments like that before too, so, they can't act holier than thou. I did make a mistake, and I regret it, but I don't know what else to do since they think it is bad that I apologized. I'll never do it again, but they want to go drinking again, but told me I have to sit and watch or just not hang out with them.
I honestly don't know what you're talking about. They seem like alright mates. They're just having a yarn, They're having some fun. Just banter. It's I really can't defend them, hey. Honestly, your friend exposing how they are behind your back should be enough for you to realize they are wasting your time. Just like what this cock says. No, that's not demonetizable. That's their name. See, it's their name. Not the a-hole. Your friends are not friends. You really need to reevaluate who you surround yourself with. You deserve better than those selfish a-holes. Now, that's absolutely true. You do have terrible friends, and you are not at all in the wrong for being sorry towards what you did in front of your friends. But that said, I am going to have to slightly agree with this everyone sucks here opinion. So you're one of those college kids who, instead of having 1 or 2 drinks, gets full-blown drunk and has no idea what they're doing. I'm a 21-year-old in college, and it's shameful how many people act this way. You chose to get drunk. Everyone knows that one of the risks of getting drunk is throwing up. What's wrong with 1 or 2 drinks? Why do you have to get so wasted? Of course they're annoyed with you. That girl had to clean up your puke. Also, enough with this, we've all had moments like that excuse. Drinking so much that you throw up absolutely should not be normalized, and it's so shameful that it is. Also, before anyone in the comments calls me a hypocrite, I have never been drunk and never will get drunk. Also, I always avoid food or drinks I know will irritate my stomach. Your friends don't sound like real friends, but most people will be irritated with you in a situation like this. Look, as harsh as it sounds, it is quite true. You do admit that really the only reason you were drinking so much was to escape, mental health issues. Now look, you're valid to not want to feel bad and depressed all the time, but you just didn't do it in the most mature way. You went through the worst possible outlet, which was using drugs as a way to escape your current issues. Thankfully, it was just alcohol in this circumstance, but I'd rather accuse you of being an a-hole straight up right now, so you make sure you never do it again, rather than excuse this one time because, it was just alcohol you were escaping with, it's okay, you just throw up once, it's fine. No. If you were going through something and you are using alcohol as a way to escape that something, then alcohol is not for you. Do not use the alcohols to escape your problems. Especially if you need the alcohols to fit in with your friends. That is not a good thing to do. Don't do that. You should be a pansy like me and only really drink alcohol when it's cocktails because they're all sweet and delicious and flavorsome. Is pansy a derogatory word these days? I have no idea. I should probably look that up. Or I could leave it recorded on here and wait for someone in the comments to point it out to me and therefore get more engagement in the comments down below. So hey, if pansy's a wrong word to use here, then please let me know. Oh man, I'm probably going to go to hell for this. But on backtracking all the way to the original point, what about this example though? If this was her 2nd or 3rd time getting super drunk, I'd agree with your verdict. And I think that this girl is way too depressed to be drinking alcohol, which will only make the depression worse. But I also don't think it's fair to call someone an a-hole for a relatively minor mistake while do something that they never have done before. It was an annoyance for the friends for sure, but no one got hurt, and now Opie knows that she can't drink that much. I feel this does help dismiss the possibility of it being everyone sucks here or even Yata.
But what do you think? I do understand the idea that the only way to figure out your tolerance level is to sometimes go past that tolerance level to really see where the limit is for you. And it's true, no one got hurt in this. It's not like she was drunk driving or anything extreme like that, so we can't exactly accuse her of doing anything that's similar to what is really generalized when it comes to excessive drinking. For now though, let's move on to the next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my friend why I wouldn't go out with them? I'm lesbian, and the friend who asked me out is non-binary. I have absolutely no problem with their gender identity, but I'm just only attracted to women. When they asked me out, I said that I was flattered, but was not interested. And when they asked me why, I said I was lesbian, and I'm only attracted to people who identify as women. I told them that I 100% know that their gender identity is valid, and I don't want them to feel like I'm telling them to change in any way. They got pretty upset and haven't talked to me since. And I'm wondering if I crossed the line by telling them that I wouldn't date them because they were non-binary or weren't a woman. I know I'm allowed to not date whoever, but I don't know if the explanation was an a-hole thing to do. Some say, not the a-hole. They asked a dangerous question, and you gave an honest answer. And that's true. You can't really ask people certain questions without being prepared for the worst possible answer you can imagine. Obviously, it does depend on how they execute that answer, but if you can't handle it, then don't ask it.
Yeah, I'm talking to you, buddy, who keeps asking out random girls and then getting all upset when they reject him.
Nata, part of their attractiveness to you is their gender. You're only attracted to a certain gender, and unfortunately, they're not that gender. As long as you let them down gently, and it sounds like you did, then their getting mad is a them problem and not a you problem. It sounds like they only wanted to be nice to you as long as they had a chance to get in your pants, and now that they don't, you're getting the hashtag nice guy reaction.
Yeah, you picking up the vibe as well? I'm picking that vibe up of someone who, if they're getting rejected by someone, they have this immediate feeling to call the other person a slut and ugly anyway.
I love what Alexia here says, though. Remember that no is a full sentence. You don't need to justify an answer. So obviously this story is quite clearly Nata. I mean, you can't call someone an a-hole for not wanting to date another person. It's called attraction. You are valid to choose who you want to be with. But I do like the advice people are giving regardless in the comments, and I think it's still nice to share them and advise people of those options should you ever be in that situation yourself. Woohoo! You've made it to the end of today's video. Good job, you! Now, clearly you enjoyed your time today, otherwise you wouldn't be here seeing my smexy face. So why not like this video and maybe subscribe if you haven't already? Unless you have, in which case, wow. Aren't you a mind reader? But seriously, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your engagement. Again, any thoughts or opinions you have, leave them down below. Now, with all that said, nothing else to say, I suppose, other than thank you once again for watching. My name's been Jack. You've been a lovely person to ramble at as always, and I guess I'll see you for the next one. Bye-bye.